Let's just check the tech. Make sure we're live in the right place. Yes, it looks like it. That's good. It's a good start. There we go. Let's turn some sound off on there. Fabulous. Okay, wonderful. Okay, right, sorry about that. Trying to get all my tech sorted. Hi, Sally. Hi and welcome. If you're joining live, do pop in the chat and say hi. If you're not, do pop in the chat anyway and say that you're here on the replay. That would be lovely. If you're joining on YouTube, if you're watching it on the replay, then this is a recording of my live monthly card club class, where we will be today making 4 projects, 4 different cards, including a fancy fold, with the Peaceful Garden Suite, which is the new suite from our new catalogue. So we'll just hold fire a moment while a few people join us. So if you're joining live, do pop in and say hi. Hi, Liz. How is everybody doing? You might notice I've got my jumper on again now. No shorts and t-shirt anymore. I'm refusing to put the heating on, so we all have to have jumpers. Evelyn is on the other side of the table. You'll see when we put the camera down, and she's even got a blanket wrapped around her knees like an old granny. It is cool here in the Smith household, but I am not putting the heating on yet. So how's everybody else doing? Have a couple of slurps of my tea while we just wait for a few more people to join. Hi, Mum. I can see you're on there as well. And I think Bernie was on for a moment and then disappeared again. So whether she's coming back, I don't know. Carolyn was thinking she might join us from her holiday in the camper van, or she might just sit outside and have a beer in the sunshine and watch the sunset, I think. So we'll see. I am frozen. Oh, I think it might be your screen, because I'm not frozen on my screen. And I've got a play, you know, I've got it playing as well, and it's not frozen, so I think it might be yours, Mum. Liz is saying, great, cold up here as well in the frozen north. You're only about an hour north of me. Probably not even that, actually. It's probably only about half an hour, I don't know. But yeah, it does feel like we've moved into autumn, haven't we? Definitely. Trees are changing colour, but it does feel like there's a bit of a nip in the air. We did have a bit of kind of dew on the car this morning. We've not got quite as far as a frost yet, but there was definitely a bit, you know, the windscreen needed cleaning and stuff, just needed wiping clean before we drove this morning to school and things. So, yeah. Okay, right. Well, while people are joining us, let me tell you the news. So I have got loads of exciting things to tell you, and in no particular order, this is. The first bit of news is my Christmas workshop is still open for booking, but it's only open until the end of this month. Which I believe is like Tuesday, maybe next week, I think. So if you are wanting to come to my all-day Christmas workshop, then you really need to get on and book your place. And regardless of whether you have booked in August or whether you are still to book, I will be closing bookings at the end of September, and everybody who's coming needs to pay by the end of September, please, as well, because I have got lots and lots of product to buy, lots of goodies for you as well. It's a bit of a mess back there at the moment. I kind of feel like I need to move in front of it, because it really is a mess, because I've started doing quite a bit of the prep and it's just all over the show over there at the moment. So, oh my goodness, Liz has had 2 frosts already. Good gracious, we haven't had any of that. You really must be up north. So if you want to come to the Christmas all-day workshop, it's on the 19th of October. So it's only 3 weeks from the end of September anyway, and that is why I really need people to book and pay by the end of September, because I need to get and order all the product to make sure everything is going to be here for you. So that is the plan. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing, you may have seen through the Facebook page, you may have seen through my email, lots of you have been in contact. It's very, very exciting. We have an amazing joining offer. Amazing. It starts on the 1st of October, which I think is next Wednesday, and it runs throughout the whole of October. The joining offer is normally you would pay £99 and you would get £130 worth of product. But for the month of October, you only need to pay £35 and you will get £130 worth of product. You heard me right. Pay £35 and choose £130 worth of product. You get free shipping, postage, packaging, all that malarkey. You will get like catalogues and business supplies and stuff as well. So if you decide this is the springboard for you and you want to start selling, you've got everything there that you can do that. If you've got rewards in your online shop, in your own online account, if you've earned some rewards, you can put them towards the starter kit if you want to. So you can put them towards that £35. If you've got £35 worth of rewards, hey presto, you're getting a free starter kit. But you can also keep them. They move with you as a demonstrator. So once you've got the rewards, whether you're a customer, whether you're a demonstrator, whether you're whatever kind of order you're placing, your rewards go with you the whole time. You don't lose them, you keep adding to them, you can spend them whenever you want, all that stuff, okay? So really, really amazing offer. So that's the first joining offer. That, I am really focusing on that one because that is by far the best deal. 35 quid. I mean, that's like a couple of packs of paper, a kit, bit of glue or whatever, a pack of paper and some glue. I mean, it's nothing, is it? So if you're thinking of placing an order that's anywhere near 30 quid, do not place an order. Hold it till the 1st of October and join instead. The second join-in offer, which also runs all the way through October, is £99, so the same amount that you would ordinarily pay for the starter kit. And you get £194 worth of product of your choice. So basically, when you go into the link, which I will send out to you again in October, and I've already put on the Facebook page, I've already put in the email, but if you've not got it yet, then, you know, or just let me know and I can share it with you. You just buy like your normal online shopping until it gets to that value, either 130 or 194. You must not go over. You must not go over. And then when you go through to the checkout, you just get asked to pay either £99 or £35, whichever, depending on how much you've spent. So really easy, really, really good offer. This is by far the best join-in offer we have had in a very, very long time. We will not get another one like this in the next year. So if you are wavering, if you are thinking I need to stock up ready for Christmas, whatever, join now. If you're thinking I want to come to the Christmas workshop, or I'm already booked on the Christmas workshop, and then usually I choose my favourite papers and everything after the Christmas workshop, and then I might place an order, perfect. Absolutely perfect. You can join after the Christmas workshop. You can join on the day of the Christmas workshop and place your order if you want to. I will bring my laptop so that people can go on and place their orders if they want to while they're there with me. So yeah, I think if you're going to place an order that's anywhere near £30, hold fire and join instead. There is no ongoing commitment once you've joined. If you just want to do it to get the deal, that is fine. There are plenty of people who do that. I have lots of people who join me and then drop and then join me and then drop. But if you continue to order, as everybody is now ordering online, if you continue to order while you are a demonstrator, you will get 20% off of everything that you order as well. So it keeps going. So anyway, if you want to talk to me more about it, just, give me a ring, text, whatever, and I will talk to you. Okay, moving on. So new products. There are new online exclusives. There's lots of Christmas stuff in there. There's Halloween stuff, loads of things. Christmas catalogue. We always love the Christmas catalogue. Here it is. Da, 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 da. This is the Christmas catalogue. Loads of beautiful, beautiful things in here. But also I would really urge you to go into the online store as well and check out the full range of everything we've got, because personally, some of my favourite things are not in the catalogue. They are online instead. And you see lots more samples and all that stuff. Today we are using a suite from this catalogue. It is page, if you have the catalogue, page 32. It's called Peaceful Garden, and that's the suite we're going to be using. But there are, as usual, loads of really cool things in the catalogue. It's an ideas book. It's not just for you to go shopping in. And one of the ideas, where is it? Here it is. One of the ideas is it gives you a sample of a one sheet wonder. So that is one whole sheet of 12 by 12 from our autumn series of papers, but you could use any patterned paper. Mum's here, brilliant. It gives you a cutting guide. If you want the measurements for the cutting guide, I can give you the measurements. Just ask me and I'll give it to you. And then you flip over a couple of the pieces of paper, because all our paper is double-sided. And then from that cutting guide, you can make these 6 cards. So Mum and I experimented with this over a little Zoom craft, which we do from time to time on Saturday. And these up here, these are the cards that I made using the Painterly Pears suite. So I'll take some photos and I'll share them onto the Facebook page so you can see what I made, because it's really cool. And the cutting guide is free in the catalogue, so that's really clever. Can you send me a catalogue? Sally's saying, I've got catalogues arriving for the Christmas workshop. So everybody who comes to the Christmas workshop will get a catalogue. So no problem there. So yeah, that'd be fine. So yeah, Christmas mini catalogue. It's available for you to flick through online. If you go on my website, you can just flick through the catalogue. If you go into the online shop, you can just select this catalogue to look at the products or the online exclusives or whatever you want to do. So online exclusives, Christmas catalogue. There's lots of new kits up on the website as well. Lots of new kits, all different things. The Haunted House kit is still available at the moment. Those of you who missed out on the Haunted House last year, it's available. If you Pinterest it, you can also see different versions of it where people have made it into a little Christmas gingerbread house and things like that. So there's lots of creative stuff you can do with it. But there's also a new kit, which is like a 12 days of Christmas kit. So it's similar to an advent calendar in that it's got little doors that you open on it. Once you've made the kit up, it's got little doors that you open. But inside each of the little doors is a little craft goodie. So there's stamp sets, there's dies, bling, all kinds of bits and pieces in there. Might be a really nice gift if you've got a crafty friend for between Christmas and New Year, for that 12 days of Christmas kind of period. Well, it goes beyond New Year, doesn't it? But yeah, they can open a door every day, and it's cute. Anyway, have a look. It's in the online store. And then the final thing that I wanted to tell you about is World Card Making Day. So World Card Making Day is the 4th of October. So it's next Saturday. And Stampin' Up! Are putting on a free event that is free to anybody to join. Anybody, demonstrators, customers, any Uncle Tom Cobley and all, anybody. All you have to do is register, and they will send you the link to the workshop. It's an hour long, the workshop, but if you've registered and you get the link to the workshop, that also gives you the link to watch it on the replay anytime you want to, whenever you want. So the live recording or the live event is 1 till 2 next Saturday on the 4th. But if you register before Friday, before the 3rd of October next week, and the registration link is open now, then that gives you guaranteed access to it live, guaranteed access to the recording, and a free gift for registering. And it costs nothing to register. So if you want to register, again, go on the Stampin' Up website and you'll find how to register there. There's just a click, and then you just put in your name and your email address, and off you go. So that's really good. And last year they did it, and they gave us all a pack of bling or something as our free gift. I can't remember what it was now, but we had a really nice free gift afterwards, just to say thank you for attending. So if you're up for freebies, then that is a way to get some freebies and some free craft, like a free online craft workshop. And also they give you like behind the scenes how some of the papers were made or whatever as well. Right, okay, that's enough yakking from me. So, like I said, we're going to use the Peaceful Garden Suite today, and we're going to make 4 projects. Let me get the ones out that we're going to make, and then I have also got a couple of other extra projects to show you. Let me just get those out of the way. At the end as well, of other ways that I've used the papers, including a really clever box that you might like too. So I am going to flip the camera around, turn all my lights on. You can say wave to Evelyn on the way by, and we'll get crafting. Okay, so there she is. There we go. Okie dokie, let's get some lights on the subject. That's better. There we go. Okay. Right, let's see if I can get my paper in the middle. It would be good to start, wouldn't it? There we are. So you are going to need your cutting and trimming, cutting and scoreboard for these cards. And you probably will also need some scissors and maybe a pencil and a ruler as well as like your sentiments and stuff. So just so that you know. So let me start with the papers actually, because they are rather beautiful. So there we go. So the papers are, it's called Peaceful Garden because you can use it for Christmas cards, and some of my sentiments I've chosen as Christmas ones, but not all of them. Some of them you can use for, you know, just general birthdays and sympathy and thanks and all kinds of things. So they're really, really pretty. I mean, that's beautiful background with the stars, really. These ones are just lovely. I think these are, you know me, I really love the kind of William Morris style prints, and for me this is very William Morris, these with the doves, and that, I love that background as well. But we've got lots of nice sort of plain washes as well as these pretty prints, and then lots of doves. The theme is doves basically. And I'll show you in a moment. In the dies, there's 2 different dies that you can get. So there's 2 dies for the 2 doves, which you have got in your kit, the 2 different doves. But there's also a sprig that you can put in the mouth of a dove, or there's also an envelope, like the dove's delivering a card as well. So that's quite sweet as well. We decided in my in-person session today that this was probably Gypsophilia. We couldn't think of anything else. I kept calling it a weed, and I got told off. So it's Gypsophilia, we think. So there you go. So that's the different patterned papers. If you're thinking this dark blue colour from the papers looks much like Night of Navy, but not quite, you're kind of right. It's the navy colour, which is called Secret Sea, from the In Colours suite this year. So that's what that's from. That's where the colour's from. Then you've also got this sentiment set of stamps. So you can see you've got Peace on Earth, which I would say is probably a Christmas sentiment, and you've got Peace, Love and Joy. But then you've also got, with Deepest Sympathy, Big Hugs for a Good Friend, Heartfelt Prayers, and then completely randomly, you've also got All the Best in Your New Adventure, which I love. I love all of these actually, but I do think it's a slightly random collection. So you can definitely use these stamps for a whole host of different things. You've also got the embossing folder, and you've got a piece of embossed white cardstock. And I will keep that one out because the dies that go with this suite, you've probably worked out already. You've got two label dies, and the biggest label die will actually cut out the middle of the embossing piece. So you could make like a window effect card if you wanted. And then the second label die creates a matte and layer effect because it's just slightly smaller. And that's what, so your white pieces in your kit are from the smaller die, and then your glimmer card, your glittery card is from the larger die. Okay, but you've also got, like I say, you've got these little sprigs, and that little sprig is designed to go in the mouth of one of the birds. But then you've also got, let me get them up the right way, this, which is two little envelopes. So you could also have your bird carrying a little envelope if you wanted. And then you've got 3 stars for a little Christmas star in the sky kind of effect. So yeah, it's a bit different, this one, I think. I don't think we've had anything quite like this before. It's a little bit different. So there you go anyway. That's sweet. Okie dokie. Right, let's show you the cards that we're going to make. Let's look at the projects. That's next. So I've got 4 cards for you. Like I said, we've got this one. This is the one that we probably won't make because it's very simple and you are more than capable, all of you, of making this one at home. So it is the embossed layer and then layered up your sentiment on the white label and some of your sparkly card. Now you will have different colours of sparkly card, okay, of the sparkly label. So there are 3 different colours, and everybody has 2 out of the 3 available sparkly colours. So there's this paler blue, there's the Secret Sea dark blue, and there's silver. So you will have 2 out of the 3 of those, okay? And it's up to you. They all mix and match with the pattern papers. So just go with what you like, really. And then I've put a couple of the doves on, and I've also put some of the gems on, the little flower burst things. So we won't be making that one tonight. You can do what you like with that one at home. You can do your own thing, so to speak. What we're going to do is these 3. So this is the first one that we're going to do, which is, I've done mine with Deepest Sympathy, but you could do Merry Christmas or Peace on Earth or whatever you want to do. So that's number 1. And then we've got number 2 is that one. And so there's lots of different mixtures of the pattern paper, really pretty. And then this one is number 3. And we might actually do that one first, thinking about it, just because I think people are going to really like this. So while everyone's still awake, we might do this one first. And this is our fancy fold. So why is it a fancy fold, you might ask? Because it goes up like that and out like that. So dead clever. Really lovely way, as was pointed out to me by Marion this morning, to use beautiful patterned papers. If you love your pattern paper and you really want to show it off, this is a great way to do it. Would make a fantastic Christmas card if you're making multiples. You're only sticking a sentiment and then adding some bling. Really easy. Yes, it stands up, so no problem with it not standing up on the mantelpiece or whatever. And if you don't like it that way, you can also make it that way instead. So it could be that way round instead. So yeah, it stands up. It stands up either way. So you can have it landscape or portrait, depending on what sentiment, you know, you want to put on there, what way round it reads and things. Okay, so I think we'll make this one first, because it looks more complicated, but actually it really isn't. Okay, so you are going to need your trimmer, and you're going to need a single sheet, a whole sheet of A4 card. Now, this is going to make 2 identical card bases. So you're going to have spare, which is obviously quite nice. So you're going to get your trimmer, and to start with, you're going to score only scoring, okay? And you're going to score this piece of A4 into 4 quarters. So with the short side at the top, score at 10.5 centimetres. So this is our standard kind of scoring measurements. So if you've written them down from every single time I make cards, then do feel free to follow those. So with the short side at the top, you're measuring in the middle at 10.5. And with the long side at the top, you're measuring in the middle at 14.9 centimetres. And you're just scoring, okay? Only scoring. And hopefully you can see, let me just hold it up to the light there, that you've got score lines now that's divided your patterned card into 4 quarters, okay? Right, I'm just going to move the trimmer out of the way for now, because the Stampin' Up! Trimmer isn't big enough to get it in to cut it next, okay? But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to bring the card in to show you the shape that we now want to cut out of it. So I've got the short side at the top, and what I'm aiming for is that shape, okay? So I've not creased any of the score lines yet, and there's good reason for that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to cut this card diagonally to give me one of the 2 card bases it's going to make. Excuse me. So I'm literally going to go straight through the centre, diagonally, corner to corner. Okay? Corner to corner. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to have to draw it with a ruler and a pencil, and then cut it, because the trimmer is just simply not big enough to get it through. So I'm going to start, and the ruler's not big enough either, so I'm going to start with 1 and go to 1 corner, and then keep going with that ruler all the way to the other corner. So I've now got, hopefully you can see, the card is scored in quarters, and then I've got a pencil line that's diagonal, corner to corner. And I'm going to cut along my pencil line so that I then get a shape that looks like that. And then I can crease it, okay? So I'm just going with scissors, corner to corner. So I'm using big scissors so that I get a nice straight, hopefully, cut line. And then what you'll see is you've got 2 identical pieces. So you can turn one the other way up, and it will give you that card base. Okay, so I'm going to give one to Evelyn. And you're folding your score lines in towards the back of the card. So let's get the bone folder. So my score lines, I'm going to even them up with the base of the card. And then the other one, top down. There we go. So as you can see at this point, that's how you can see. You could do it that way up. You could do it that way up, whichever. My corner's not quite meeting. Oh, never mind, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to pause there a moment while people are just finishing off that scoring and cutting. Who's crafting along with me? And when you've got to this point, don't forget to give me some thumbs up or some hearts or something so that I know that you're with me. I'll have a quick slurp of tea while I'm at it. Yep. Sally's crafting, and we've got some emojis, so that's good. And Dee's crafting, lovely. And Liz, wonderful. Wonderful, so we've got a few of you. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Once you've got your card base done, you then need to go to your patterned papers and choose what your background patterned paper is going to be. So I have used this one, which is kind of like, it's kind of like the leaves paper. And the good thing about this one is that there isn't a right way up on this paper. So you can make the most of it, and you can actually cut your patterned paper layer kind of with the long edge at the top. So you waste as little as possible of it and you use as little as possible of it so that it's ready for the next time. So you want to cut a standard layer, which is 9.9 centimetres by 14.3 centimetres. So you will then just have that tiny little strip of waste. Oh, and Mama's as well, that's good. Let's count that. So 9.9 centimetres by 14.3 centimetres is your piece of patterned paper. And then when you've got that cut out, again, you're going to cut diagonally, corner to corner. Now, when I'm doing my diagonal cutting, I find it really helps to keep the card base on the table so that I can work out where my which corner to corner I'm cutting. So I'm just going to put that back into the track. And once I've got both the points in the track, I'm then going to chop it. And then you'll have one piece there and one piece there. And once you've got that, you can then glue them to your card front. This leaves a very, very small border. So just be really careful when you're laying your card down, your pattern paper down. So for example, if you use tape or seal or, snail, then you just need to be really careful on the border because you want a really, really small border around the edges. Otherwise, you'll find that your pattern paper kind of goes over the join, goes over the edges. So just be really careful. And that's one of the reasons why I'm using wet glue, because it allows you to it's a bit more forgiving because you can slide it around a little tiny bit. But just make sure that you've got your pattern paper obviously the right way up as well. Because when it's kind of laid down, you should sort of be able to see how the pattern could continue where you've cut it across the join. And then you're going to go to your little bag of goodies. This has got loads of stuff in it because Evelyn and I are sharing a bag of goodies. And we need to find your labels. So you want a white label and a sparkly label. And you're going to stamp a sentiment for your label. Let's have a look, see if I can choose something different. That one says big hugs for a good friend. I might do mine this way round, as it was suggested. And I'm going to go with, let's see, let's go with, I wonder if Peace on Earth will fit on there. Let's have a look. Peace on Earth sideways. Oh, it will as well. Let's do that then. I'm going to do that one. So I'm just going to bring in my foam mat, which I have started stamping on when I'm using photopolymer stamps. I've started stamping onto a foam mat, and it's made such a difference to the clarity of the stamped image, that particularly with words and things, it really does make a difference. So I'm going to stick with that for now. There we go, nice and crisp. Clean that one off a minute. And then often you find with the glittery card that it's difficult to get something that will stick onto it, kind of adhesive wise. I used wet glue or tear and tape for mine. So I'm going to go with the wet glue again for this one, and it's sticking the sentiment just flat down onto the glittered card. And then I use 3D pads behind it to actually stick it to the card. And I can already see I've got a little fingerprint smudge or something on there. So that's going to have a bit of bling over the top of it. That's guided where I've decided to put the bling. Never mind. So yeah, what you often find with the glittery card is that you just need to hold it in place for a few moments to get it to really stick, so it doesn't curl up. But we were saying this morning, we were wondering whether Stampin' Up! Have changed the kind of how the glitter card is constructed, because the glue seems to stick to it a lot better now than it used to. Anyway, right, let's get that stamping pad out the way. Yep, so this is my original one with the sentiment that way round, but I'm going to go with my sentiment this way round. What you need to decide is which is the top flap, and that is where you're going to put your 3D pads. So for this one, this top flap is where the 3D pads go behind my sentiment. Now, if you're a bit kind of anxious about doing that and you think, oh, I'm going to mess this up, lay your sentiment down flat, open the card up, and then just add a little line on the back, and then you know it's that side is where I need to put my 3D pads. And as long as they're on here, they're not going to then stick to the wrong bit of the card. There we go. Okay, and then line it back up again. And it should stand up lovely, beautiful. And then I'm just going to add some bling. So the bling that goes with this suite is this beautiful silver edged ribbon, which we are going to use on one of the cards in a moment. And then also these cute little, I mean they kind of are flowers, but they could also be like snowflakes, to be honest. They're really pretty. I'm just going to stick one either side of the sentiment. And that's that one done. So it's a fancy fold, but it's a really simple, really effective fancy fold, and a great way for you to be able to show off your patterned papers. If you're using this very dark Secret Sea card, you will obviously need to add a white layer inside, which you could do some stamping on as well if you wanted to for writing your sentiment. But you don't have that in your kit. I'm assuming that everybody has a stash of white card at home that you use for such things. So, but yeah, so there we go. That's card number 1. I do like these pattern papers. They are really very beautiful. Anybody else a fan of these, the Peaceful Garden? Has anybody been on the online catalogue yet to have a look and see what their favourite Christmassy ones might be? Yep, got lots of thumbs up. My favourite one, I think it's called something about pines. I can't remember now. It's one of the online exclusives. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's like snowflakes, but it's not actually. It's made up of pine branches. It's not actually snowflakes. And the colours and everything, we're going to be using it at the Christmas workshop. It's absolutely beautiful, really stunning. So yeah, cool. So that's card number 1. Card number 2 is going to be this one. So this is the one we're going to do next. Let me move those out of the way. This one here. Again, it's all about showing off the beautiful papers, really. But give me some thumbs up when you're ready to move on. I don't want to leave anybody behind that wants to keep up while I pick the glue off my table. Yeah. Just have a little slurp of my tea while I'm waiting for some more. Again, this one's really easy to do. Yeah, brilliant. So from your stash, you are going to need, from your stash of kit, you're going to need your pale blue card base, which is, again, from the In Colours, it's called Cloud Cover, this one. You're going to need your dark single layer. And you are going to need some of your glimmer paper. So again, you can choose which one you want to put behind it. So maybe we'll go with the blue this time. And you're going to need a piece of patterned paper. Now, none of these things, apart from the card base, are cut to size. So you are going to have to do the cutting to size before you can do anything else. So I will give you the measurements for that in a moment. So I'm going with the piece with the doves, and then we'll add the other bits and pieces in a minute. Okay, you will need a little bit of card for the middle as well. So again, I haven't added in the spare bits of white card, so I'm assuming everyone's got a bit of spare white card at home that you'll use for stamping sentiments and stuff. So you can do a banner like I've done. You could do punched images if you prefer that. Whatever works for you, okay? But these are the kind of main elements. So first things first, you're going to fold over and score your card base. Crease, sorry, not score. It's already scored for you. Crease your card base. There we go. And then you're going to add your first layer, and you'll see that this single piece of the dark card is too big for that, so you're going to need to cut it down. So we're going again with our usual first layer size. So that is 9.9 by 14.3 centimetres, all centimetres. Oops. 14.123. And while we're there, we'll also cut out the piece of patterned paper that we need as well. So this is second layer size. Now, if you're using this same paper as me, make sure that you've got it the right way up before you start cutting, okay? So I'm going to cut the length of the card first. So it is 14.3, so it's 6 from that, so 13.7. So 13.7 by 9.3 centimetres. 13.7 centimetres by 9.3 centimetres. And it should just sit inside your dark card with a lovely border. Okay? So we've got, let me write it down on here so everyone can see. So you've got first layer is 14.3 centimetres by 9.9 centimetres. And second layer is, what did I say it was? 13.7 centimetres by 9.3 centimetres. So I take 0.6 of a centimetre off each time, basically. That's what gives me that little line around the outside. And then I'll worry about cutting my glittery card when I've worked out what I'm doing with my sentiment and everything. Okay, so just layer these up, stick them down like normal. Hopefully you don't need to slide this one around too much to get it where you want it to be. And this first, this patterned paper and, sliding about here, the patterned paper and the card mat just goes flat on the card front. And your card is portrait if you're using the same paper as me. Okay, so that's just all flat. And then you need to figure out what are you going to do in the middle here for your sentiment. That's the next thing to think about. Okay, so I am going to go with the, I think, peace, love and joy across the middle. And I'm going to get a scrap of white card, which I have got there. Let's get rid of some of this I was punching out shapes with today. Going again with the Secret C. And stamping again. In fact, I'm going to stamp that way round. On, because it's a photopolymer stamp, I'm going to stamp onto my foam mat to give me a better image. There we go, crisp image. And Evan, can you put that one back in the box for me, please? Thanks. And then I'm just going to take my trimmer and trim that to the size that I want across the middle there. It's a bit narrower than the original one that I've done. Let's see. Gonna give me enough. Let's go with that and see. Yeah, that's all right. Lovely. Let's just see what that'll look like when I line it up. Yeah, it's going to be a bit too long, so that is okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to mount it onto here, and then I'm going to trim it off. So I'm going to mount it onto the glitter card first and then trim it afterwards. So let's put some glue on again. Sometimes it's better to trim in situ on the card because you get really neat flush edges then. And the other thing you can do with glitter card, if you've got a lot of glue on it, is to stick it in place and then turn it over and press from the back of the glitter card. That sometimes makes it easier to kind of hold it in place and for it to not to smudge the ink and not to smudge the writing and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to trim from the back first. Get rid of those two little bits. And then I'm going to trim off the rest of the banner to give a nice little edge. So about there, I reckon. Cutting glimmer card, a great way to sharpen your blades as well. It's just the same as like cutting tin foil. It will sharpen up your blades a little bit. And then, there we go, that will fit beautifully across the middle. So I'm going to put 3D pads on the back of my sentiment. All the way across so that it doesn't go kind of floppy in the middle. This is such a simple design but so effective because you could do this. I mean, we've done this with going to add the doves in a minute, but you could do it with flowers instead overlapping. You could do it with little kind of leaves and fronds and things coming out the middle. Whatever you want, really. Right, there we go. And then I'm just going to go back to my bag of goodies here and get out some of the doves. So you can put as many doves on or as few doves as you want to. I'm going to add one of each of the designs. So the one that's taking flight and the one that's kind of sitting still. And best to kind of work out where you want them to go before you add your 3D pads on the back, because you just want to make sure that they're not going to kind of be covering over the words at all, because you might find that it's better to have one. No, I think it's definitely that way around. You might find it's better to have one shape at the top and, you know, one above your sentiment and one below or something like that. Now, all I've done on all of my doves is, on all of the cards, is I've literally just put one 3D pad in the middle of the body or in the bulkiest part of the wing. The reason I've done that is because your feathers are actually die cut all the way through. So that then means that if you want to give them a bit of kind of movement and curl them a bit or whatever you want to do, you can do that. And it doesn't kind of restrict their movement. And I'm just overlapping the sentiment a bit. I've talked about this loads of times before, but if you have elements that are not touching all of the different parts of the card, sometimes it can make the card look disjointed. So what you want to try and do is to ensure that wherever possible, even if it's only the tiniest little bit, like that wing and the wing tip, that you've got your main elements all touching each other, or ideally overlapping each other, because that brings the focus of the card all together then. If you've just got them all very separate, that's where, you know, cards kind of just don't look like they hang together properly. And it just somehow doesn't look quite right. You can add some bling if you want to, or you can leave it plain like this if you want to. And then that is our second card. It might be talk of the birds in the doves, I'm not sure, but the cat's just joined us now. Please don't knock the wires off the table, you. Yes. I don't know.
I thought she'd gotten lost.
Yeah, we thought we weren't sure where she was. She'd disappeared off up to Alexander's room, where she's now taken to sleep in now that he's gone back to university. She's snuggled up on his bed, yeah, didn't know whether she was where she'd gone out or what she'd done, but she's obviously decided she needs some company, and so now she's gonna mewing around the table and poking at the wires and things of the computer and whatnot and the camera. So let's hope she doesn't knock everything for 6 in a minute. Okay, so there you go. That is card number 2. How are people doing? Give me some thumbs up if you're still with me and you're getting on okay. Let me know how you're doing. And if also, oh good, that's good. If anyone's got any top tips for cleaning the edges of your scissors, I've got almost, I should think probably, I've got a lot of scissors. I own a lot of scissors. I mean, seriously, this is my tub for little scissors. Look how many pairs I've got there. And I reckon over half of my scissors at the moment are really, I've got really sticky bits down the cut edge. So if anyone's got any brilliant ideas for how to clean the stickiness off scissors, I would really love to hear it, because all of my scissors need a really good clean at the moment. Send your top tips my way, please. Okay, so how are we getting on? Everybody doing okay? I did see a few thumbs up. Send me some more if you're finished and you're happy to move on. I know sometimes people kind of, you know, will do the first card and then miss the second and come back to it later on the replay, and that's absolutely fine. But if you want to join me for card number 3, then I don't want to start without you. There we go. That's card number 3. And then I'll just show you, after we've done this one, I'll show you a few extra ideas. Oh, I want to show you my I need sticker sticker remover. Is that a thing, is it? Can I get that on Amazon, Dee? I need to try and get some of that then, definitely.
Because
honestly,
also remove annoying stickers, because I've got...
Oh yeah, it could be, couldn't it? Right, we're going to search for that after this, Evelyn. We're going to search and see if we can find it. I bet you can buy it on Amazon. We'll have a little hunt down and see what we can get. Okie dokie. Right then. I am going to move on to this next one. Now, you may have all kinds of colours in your kit. You might have a pale, you might have a white, you might have a misty moonlight like I've got, card base. Could be a myriad really. I had a variety of bits of card and I just had to use what I had because I was waiting for an order to come, I'm afraid. So you might have the dark Secret Sea, which is what I've done with mine, but as we're going to completely cover the front in pattern paper, it really doesn't matter what colour you've got. Or like I say, you might have Misty Moonlight or something else. So anyway, you need your remaining card base. You're going to fold that over and crease it. And then you're going to need, you've got a square that's pre-cut. Oh, it's called HG Sticker Remover in a bottle. Right, we are going to be on it. I'm going to write it down. HG Thank you so much, Dee. Sticker remover. Right, I'm going to look for that after this. Yeah, so back to the card. So you need your card base. You need your square of coordinating card. And you are going to need several of your patterned papers. So let's go through them. The first one, if you're following my design exactly the same, is you're going to need the what I call the gypsophilia paper. Okay, that's the one you're going to need first. Then you're going to need, let me find it. Then you're going to need, you're going to need this one that looks a bit like olive trees, blue olive trees, but you're going to need the reverse side. So it's got hatching on it. That's the second one. And then the third one you're going to need is these beautiful, well, they could be hydrangeas, I guess, but these beautiful big blooms. And you will see from my card that when I've cut out the piece to go inside the square, I've not just chopped it from the corner, I've made an effort to get that bloom in the middle. So that's important as well. So if there's a part of this patterned paper that you really love, or part of the design that you love, then make sure that it's right in the middle of your square, which might mean you sort of need to cut it off and then, you know, fiddle with it to get it right, okay? But let's start with the gypsophilia paper, as we're going to call it that to begin with. And you need not a first layer unless you want a border. I'm not having a border on mine. Again, the gypsophilia paper needs to be the right way up. So I am cutting this at 14.9 is the longest side by 10.5 so that it covers the whole of the card front. It doesn't just cover the first layer element, it's covering the whole of the card front. Okay, so 14.9 by 10.5 and then stick that down. Stick it down flat. And you might ask why, because somebody this morning asked me, why have you suddenly decided to do that and not put a lovely border on like normal? And I said, why not? There is literally no rhyme and reason as to why, other than, well, why not? For a change, that's all, no other reason. And if you're big on precision, at this point you might want to go inside and trim it, just to make sure that it really is, the back of your paper is not visible, if you're really big on precision. Because depending on which side of the card base you've stuck it on, obviously all card bases are designed where one side is a millimetre bigger. This is even on professional cards, by the way, shop bought cards. What am I saying, professional cards? Shop bought cards. But all cards are designed so that one side is a millimetre bigger than the other so that you can open it. That is the whole, if you didn't know that, then there you go. There's a little top tip for you. So it's okay when your edges don't meet down the side. It's meant to be like that so that you can open it. You can get your thumb on the back for ease. Okay? So that's the first layer. Everybody with me? I'm just going to measure the width of this one. Yeah, couldn't quite remember it. Okay, then your second piece is the hatched kind of paper. And because the hatched part of it doesn't have a right and a wrong way up, again, you can really maximise the amount of paper you're using by putting the long side at the top of your trimmer. So you're using the smallest amount of paper, so you're going to have loads of paper left. And you're cutting it off at 6 centimetres. So you've got, look how much paper you've got left. It's the only little bit that we've used out of that pattern. You're going to have tons left to make birthday and Christmas and whatever you want cards out of this. Again, it's going to be too long, so you can stick it down and then trim trim that off the bottom. So because I'm gonna slide it into position, I'm gonna again use wet glue. And this time you'll see on my card, it's not right in the centre, it's just off centre. So there is a smaller gap down this side, down the hinge side, than there's a wider gap on the opening side, smaller gap on the hinge side. And that is really because in order to get all the detail in of the main focus of the card, you have to put the your patterned flower paper off to one side. So to counterbalance that, I've moved the hatched paper closer to the spine. It's all kind of about a bit of an optical illusion really for your eye and to fit in all those beautiful patterns. In this case, the flower. So again, just trim off the bottom. And then you need a piece to go inside your square. Okay, so let's see, where's my ruler? Let's measure the square. Let's see how big. So the square is 8 centimetres square. So you're going to need a piece that is 7.4 centimetres square. So I am going to get my floral bit and I am going to chop it up so that I can get that flower right in the middle. So 7.4 centimetres. I'm going to cut the edges down first. And then let's go with a bit off the top to start with. Do it like that. There we go. That might work actually. 7.4 centimetres square. And that should fit neatly inside your square piece of card. Save all these little bits because you can do a lovely scrappy strip type design with these. Loads of things you can do with these, especially these little starry sky bits on the back. I mean, that in itself, that would make a beautiful card, wouldn't it? I'd kind of make one like that and then stick an image over the top. Lovely. So I'm going to stick that to the matte layer. Come on. I think I'm at the point where I'm actually going to need to have to buy some new seal cases because they're so covered in sticky fingers. It's time, I think, to get some new. There we go. How's everybody doing with this card? All right? Everybody still with me? Yep. Good, good. Good, good, good. Yep, lovely. Okay, so once you've got your flower matted, then you can put some 3D pads on the back. And when you've got quite a big space like this, it's always good to stick some in the middle as well, because you don't want to have a saggy middle. If you've got something that's meant to be raised, then make sure that the whole thing is raised. The bigger the image, the more pads you need, or use strips and go all the way across the middle. And so then, as I've done on this original one, I'm just going to put my image closer to the opening in the middle of the top to bottom of the card, but closer to the edge, so that you get a little bit of the strip showing on the opposite side, and it counterbalances the fact that you've got a smaller piece this side. And then you've got the detail to add. So you've got a bird, a dove, you've got a sentiment, and I've put a little bit of ribbon on the back of the sentiment. Okay. So this card will need the right kind of sentiment, I would say, like the right size of sentiment. So we had heartfelt prayers. What shall I have? What shall I have? I might have sending love. So I can make that one up. So there's the love stamp and there's the sending stamp. I'm going to layer them up. So if you're kind of joining stamps together like this, which is, it's quite common, then what a good thing to do is kind of line them up either on a straight line, or if you have got grid paper, then it's you can line them up on the grid paper to work out where you want them to be first, before, the only thing is they stick to your fingers, but before you then stick them to the block. So I've got them face down like I would stamp them, and then put the block over the top, and then they come off in the right place where you're gonna, where they're actually gonna be when you stamp them. Oh, what would be a good idea would be a bit of white card, wouldn't it, really, to actually stamp on? That would be probably quite useful. Can I grab a bit of that? Thank you, a bit of that white. So I'm just going to go with the straight edge along the bottom here of my straight edge. It's very difficult to see. There we go. Lovely. And then I just need to trim this sentiment down. So let's grab the trimmer. And I'm going to cut top to bottom first. Let's go with about there. Yep. And I'm going to cut the end off as well. And then I've just put a little flag in the end of this sentiment. And I did that, literally just did that kind of by eye, nothing too technical. So using snips is a great way to do this. Cut down the middle and then cut from the corner to where you've cut that centre line. But literally just doing it by eye. Don't be tempted like I just nearly was to pull it. Make sure you snip it so you get a really sharp angle. There you go. And then that gives you your little flag to go over the bottom there. And again, when you attach this sentiment, the important bit is that it's joining up all the elements of the card. So you want it to be covering, you don't want it to be completely just covering the flower and not the layered papers underneath. So put it off center and just off to the edge a little bit so that you get a bit of everything. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my ribbon to the back of that sentiment. So into my bag of goodies and grab my bit of ribbon. And you don't need very much. So again, you're going to have plenty of ribbon left over. You just kind of want to make a little loop, chop it off. And then I'm going to stick it to the back first, and then I'm going to flag the bottoms. Oh, I've managed to drop out a bird as well, so I might use that one. So I'm just going to put a little bit of seal on the back. So that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to work out where it's going to go, and I need my 3D pads along the bottom there. I'm nearly running out of this strip, so I'm going to snip a little strip of edging off instead. Don't forget, don't throw away any bits of your 3D pads. Use all the edges as well. Don't waste any of it. Bit of glue across the top there, where it's going to stick to the actual pattern paper. I'm going to line that up. So this is all before I've snipped the bottom of the ribbon, and then I'm going to go in and trim the ribbon. There we go. And then I've got a little dove to add as well. So I'm going to stick that one there, I think. Will he? Well, his wings will just come off, slightly come over the edge. That's okay. I'm going to go with that. I'll stick my 3D pad on the bit that's going to be on the card, and I am going to actually add another tiny blob of glue on the opposite wing so that it stays put where I want it to go. There we go. And there you are. That is card number 3. And again, if you want to add some bling at this point, in fact, let's add some, shall we? Haven't got any bling on these cards. I'm just going to add a bit up here. Let's put a bit on this one as well, I think. These are really cute, these little flowers, or starbursts, or whatever they are. And I think just a couple of little bits to add a bit of extra touch. There we go. That's number 3. So let me find number 4 again, just to show you. So card number 4 is just your card base of any colour, whatever you've got left. And then your embossed layer, which will need to be cut down. So when you're cutting it down, just make sure that you're cutting an even amount from each side if you're trimming the edges, because you want your embossed pattern to remain in the picture in the middle. You don't want to chop off any of your embossed pattern, but you also don't want one side that's got lots of plain card and one side that's very close to the embossing. So just make sure that when you're trimming it down to fit your card, that you've trimmed it evenly. And then you can either stamp directly onto the label in the middle, or like I've done, you can add another layered label. So you'll have another sparkly large label, and you've got another white label to go in the middle that you can then stamp on. And then I've just added a couple of the doves, and I've added a bit of Wink of Stella, but my And the reason I'm not showing this one off too much is that my Wink of Stella went a bit mad. As you can see, I've got a few bits where it kind of leaked. It was a brand new one, and usually I squeeze it onto a bit of paper and then paint from there, and I forgot and it went everywhere. So I'm going to redo this one. But you get the idea of the design anyway. You've also, don't forget, got loads of patterned paper left. You've also got lots of the glimmer card left as well, because the shapes, I cut the shapes out of extra glimmer cards. So you've got plenty of these 3 colours. So if you didn't want to go with the labels in the middle, you could punch out from the glimmer card whatever patterns you wanted, or whatever punched shapes or what have you wanted in there. So yeah, loads of different things you can do. Right, so that's the final card. So let me just show you some extra ideas and show you how I made them. Okay, so if you remember, right back at the beginning of this evening, I was talking to you about how in the Christmas catalogue there is a cutting template, a cutting layout on page 42 for a one sheet wonder, and it says one sheet wonder on here. So I used the one sheet wonder template. I basically used one of these 3 strips instead of a whole sheet of 12 by 12, and I made these with it. So let me just get that out of the way a minute so you can see that. So I've made 3 different ones, all using pattern paper behind, and then strips, either strips of the patterned paper, strips of the glimmer paper. So yeah, and you could do that obviously with any patterned paper, but works really well with these patterns, because you can, like this little bit here is a really good example of where I really didn't want to throw it away. So if you remember when we were cutting up to get the flower, you had strips as you were cutting it down to get the right size, and often it's a really pretty little strip, but you don't want to get rid of it. So yeah, so I used that template, that cutting template, to create these 3. So that's a couple of extras that you could make if you wanted to. And then finally, I used the rest of the floral paper to create this little box. So this is actually quite a big box, actually. It's quite a tall box. And I added a little tag on as well on the top there, really simply just layering up the paper. The box has got the patterned paper on the 4 sides. It's like a milk carton kind of design, and it is big enough, I take the label off, for, guess what, inside? A little mini bottle of Prosecco. So that is how big it is. That's what fits inside it. So that is really cool and easy and clever, and a cool way to wrap up quite a simple little gift for somebody. And then I've just using a paper clip. I've got some fancy paper clips, and I just put a fancy paper clip on the top for the closure. That's all. But really, really effective. So you might be thinking, well, that's great, but where did you get the design or the template for the box from? And the answer is in my Halloween kit. So I have made these little treat boxes from the Stampin' Up! Halloween treat box kit, ready for Halloween, because we have, living where we do, we have loads of little kids that come round, and I love making them the little treat boxes. So this is a kit that's available at the moment from Stampin' Up! And it creates these cute little milk box, like milk carton kind of style boxes. But let me see if I can find it quickly. What it also does is, as with all of our kits, you get amazing instructions with the kit. Now, in the instructions for this kit, so it's called, in case you're inspired, the Sweet and Spooky Kit. But inside the instructions for the Sweet and Spooky Kit, you get a picture of the box. Can you see that? And the picture of the box not only tells you like what size everything needs to be, but it also gives you a scoring template, a scoring guide. So there's lots of little green dotted lines. Don't know if you can see those on the box template. So it tells you how to score them. In fact, I think there might even be a better picture than that of it. Is there? No, it's not. It is that one I used. But yeah, so once I'd made all these up, I thought, do you know what, I really want to make a bigger box. So all I did to make this box was I followed the dimensions exactly. So it's in inches, obviously. It's a 2.5 inch square all the way round box. 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches for the base and everything. And then what I did was I used a whole sheet of 12 by 12 card, white card. So, and you could actually do this using the sheet of card that comes inside your patterned paper pack. And I just followed the scoring template from this kit to score the top shape to make the top milk carton element of the box. And honestly, it took seconds. It was so easy to do, I cannot tell you. But anyway, if you can't be bothered with that, but you quite fancy making the milk cartons, then the Sweet and Spooky Kit is probably for you. It makes 15 Halloween treat boxes. Really easy to make, really cute. So there you go. So let's just turn the camera back round a minute. Where are we? There we go. There we go. That's better. So yeah, so that's it for today, folks. I promise I will take some photos of these, which are the cards that I also made using the template. And if you want to have a go at the One Sheet Wonder from the catalogue, then give me a shout and I will send you the measurements for where you cut. It's really easy to do because you just cut a whole length of 12 by 12 paper. You cut into 3 equal strips and then you chop the bits out of it, and some you flip over and some you keep the right way up and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really, really easy to do, really effective. Again, as we're starting to think about Christmas, make an amazing, I mean, that one sheet of 12 by 12 made 6 really pretty cards. In fact, Mum used Christmas paper for her cards. So really quick way, if you've got multiples of cards to make like at Christmas, then that's a really quick way to do it. Okay. So hopefully everybody's enjoyed themselves tonight, and we're finished on time for a change. That's unheard of. So that's really good. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to watch the replay at all, Facebook now does this thing where it deletes the videos after a couple of weeks. So hop onto the YouTube channel because it's saved in the YouTube channel forever. And you can always, you know, pause and rewind and whatever you want there in the YouTube channel. Okay. Right. I am off to hunt Amazon for the sticky stuff remover, HG sticky remover in a bottle that Dee has recommended. Thank you, Dee and Liz, and you are all very welcome. And yeah, I will see you soon. Keep an eye out for all the great offers coming in October, the join-in offer. And if you want to join me for the Christmas extravaganza, which is all day on the 19th of October, you have to sign up and you have to pay by the end of September. So please do. That would be amazing. All right, take care, everybody. Bye bye.